Hello everybody and welcome to another mystery box function challenge. In the purple mystery box there is some math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. Because it's a Friday, this math is going to be particularly challenging. You can try this out yourself by using the link in the description, and when you think you've got an idea, come on back and see if we get the same thing. All right, let's start with a 0. All right, 0 gives us 0. How about a 1? 1 gives us 1. Well, I can think of a lot of functions that would give us 0, 0, and 1, 1. Let's try a 2. Okay, so that's giving us, well, that looks like a non-repeating decimal. So is this trig? Is this a square root function? Is it something else? Let's try 3. Also gives us a non-repeating decimal. Let's try a 4. 4 gives us 8. Okay, that's probably going to be a helpful point to think about. Um, Interesting, we're getting so far 3 whole number results and 2 non-repeating decimal results. That does make me think square root. Let's try negative numbers. Ah, even more evidence for a square root being involved. Let's go further out. Okay, so we're getting not a number error for any negative number we're putting in here. It looks like we could test some more, but I think we can be pretty confident about this. Um, Actually, let's just try negative 1/2 just in case. Okay, so it's not doing something funny next to the y-axis. So it just starts here at 0, 0, 1, 1. Both of those would be in the square root function. I'm just going to write down the square root function just to make sure that I'm thinking about that. The problem with this, well, I mean, it has the general shape of a square root function, but it looks like it's sort of been flipped around and turned 90 degrees. What would do that? I don't know. And, you know, the square root of 0 is 0 and the square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4 is not 8. That's a strange one. And this is not the square root of 2. So it looks like the numbers under the square root symbol, assuming there is one, are being made bigger. So what could do that? Let's think about this number and think about how we could get that. So if we took the square root of something to get 8, that would be 64. So what would we do to 4 to turn it into 64? Well, you could multiply it by 16. So maybe we have 16 times the square root of x. And, you know, another way to write that would be 4 times the square root of x. And you can see how if you put a 4 in there now, you'd get the square root of that would be 2, and you'd multiply it by 4. So is that it? Well, oh, it can't be, right? Because we have 1. 1 gives us 1. In this setup, 1 would give us 4. How else can we make numbers bigger? Well, we could raise them to a power. So this could be, well, the square root of x squared doesn't really make sense. That would just be x. So you'd get x out every time you put in an x. 1 would give you 1, 2 would give you 2. That's not happening. And 2 gives us more than 2, so maybe we're raising it to the next higher power. Well, let's see if that would work if we put in that 4. So the square root of 4 cubed, what would that be? Oh, 4 cubed is 64, right? 4 times 4 is 16 times 4. And then that would give us 8 when we took the square root of 64. Huh. Let's see, is there another number we could try? Well, 1 would make sense, right? 1 cubed is still 1, so the square root of that is 1. Same with 0. What if we put in, what's going to give us a good, well, if we put in a 3, we've got 3 up here. That's 27. So can we kind of estimate in our heads what the square root of 27 it is? The square root of 25 is 5, so it should just be a little over 5. Oh, and look at this. We've got 5.196. Okay. We could try figuring out some other numbers to test on this, but I think this is it. I don't think a multiplier works because of that value at 1. So I think this has probably got to be it. Let's take a look. Yes, there we go. So this is the square root of x cubed. Another way to write that would be x to the 3/2 power. If you came up with that as a solution, that's correct too. Let's go ahead and graph this. So interesting. It almost looks like, that square root function turned on its side, or maybe 1/2 of a parabola, although it doesn't quite shoot up fast enough for that, for a parabola, or flatten out enough at the bottom. All right, well, how did that go for you? I think this was super tricky. Were you in the realm of square roots? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.